Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How's everyone this morning?
Good, H.
Good.
Good morning.
Mr. Bill?
Mr. James.
How's the corn planting going?
Not too good this morning.
No, we're shut down for a bit by the looks of it, but we got
You get
300
some-
acres in on the weekend, so
Mm-hmm.
good start.
You got something over your screen, Bill. There you go.
You don't want to see me anyway.
Yeah. As long as you have a shirt on, that's all we need to see, Bill.
Just a shirt.
Yeah. Anything below, we don't care. We don't want to see it.
What about the hat?
Yeah, I got my hat on. Last week I was wearing my Perth South hat.
Last week or 2 weeks ago?
Last week, I think.
Okay, so there are the resolutions.
Okay.
So when we go to the public meeting, that's our committee adjustment.
Okay.
So here's the first one to introduce. So we just say that council will adjourn instead of committee.
Yes, we don't need votes or anything.
No, it's a little more informal that way.
Yeah.
And then I forgot to write this at the end of the second one, but then we'll just move back. So it's the committee who makes the recommendations and then they move back into council after the two of them are.
And do we take the recommendation after we move into council?
No, it's the committee that makes it, not council.
Okay.
I know it gets confusing because we don't do them very often.
Okay. We all ready? Well, good morning, everyone. And I'd like to call this meeting to order on this Tuesday. So I guess it's a good day to be indoors having a Zoom meeting. With that, we'll start out with a moment of reflection.
Can I get back to you? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thanks. Yeah. I think of you and your brothers and your sisters and your dad.
And I'll remind everyone that this is being live streamed.
Good morning, everyone. I'm good, how are you?
We'll ask anyone that's not, please mute your.
Yeah.
And then we can limit our interference. So with that, we'll start out looking for a motion that the council agenda for May the 4th, 2021 be approved as circulated. And I think we're going to add a correspondence in that one too.
Yes,
So-
thank you. We received that letter from Minister Clark.
Yes, so the letter from Minister Clark will be added in under correspondence. So with that, moved by Councillor Jeffrey, second by Councillor Corby. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Oh, Deputy Mayor Aitchison? Guys, you might.
Just vote in favor of the motion.
Oh, okay, you were maybe just a little slower than the rest. It's early in the morning, maybe. Remind everyone to declare declaration of pecuniary interest. And don't see any. So with that, we don't have a report closed. Move on to the consent agenda. Would anyone like to see anything discussed or removed out of the consent agenda? Councillor Jeffrey. You're on mute, Councillor Jeffrey. You're still on mute, I believe.
How's that?
There, I can hear you now, Bill.
Thank you. Say, I should pass on, Daryl Hurlick's mother passed away last night.
Oh, okay.
He just called me and said,
Well, we'll pass along our condolences to Daryl's families. Okay. With that, does anyone want to see anything pulled or removed on the consent? Okay. The consent agenda items 6.1 to 6.15 be received for information, and that the regular council minutes of April 20th, 2021 be adopted. Moved by Councilor Orr, second by Councilor Corby. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. All right. So then we will move right into Committee of Adjustment. And with that, first one is the Armstrong Drain. So council will now temporarily adjourn, and the Committee of Adjustment will now hold a public hearing to consider two minor variance applications. The first application is for the property currently owned by Carl and Nancy Armstrong, number A02-2021, 4969 Lion 10 Blanchard Ward. This is an opportunity for the township to advise the public of the purpose and intent of the minor variance and receive their input prior to making a decision. Any person present who wishes to receive written notice of the decision made by the Committee of Adjustment is asked to give their name and mailing address to the Secretary Treasurer at this time. No written notice, except as previously noted, will be given unless requested at this time. All persons attending this hearing will be given an opportunity to be heard or make a presentation. I will now call on our County Planner, Adam, to present planning report and recommendations. Morning, Adam.
Morning, Your Worship, members of council, members of committee. I'm going to share screen and walk committee through this application.
Okay.
Okay.
Looking for you. There we go.
Good. Can everybody see the aerial photo? Okay, perfect.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, so this application A02-2021 is for the lands at, this is the subject property. It's on line 10, right kitty corner to Perth Road 163. Property is approximately 100 acres. It's got fields. This is Flat Creek. And then the property also has a business called Armstrong Motors, and they repair small engines, farm machinery, things like that. And that use on this property was permitted back in, through a zoning amendment back in, I think it was either 07 or 08 to allow this use. The lands around the property, this is the Science Hill aggregate pit, which my understanding is pretty much depleted. They've begun rehabilitation of it. There's a church up here, and then surrounding properties are predominantly agricultural. So the applicant has applied for a minor variance to allow supplemental farm dwelling, and the zoning bylaw right now requires that that supplemental farm dwelling could be no more than 45 meters from the main farm dwelling. And on this sketch map here, you can see the main farm dwelling is quite a ways back into the lot, and they're proposing to put that supplemental farm dwelling in a kind of a growth of cedars here. And that's 186 meters away from the main farm dwelling. So the variance is for the difference between the two. Just a few site photos to walk committee through. So this is the pool that's right behind the house, and the lawns kind of wrap around the pool. There's a lawn over here that we're looking east, and the land slopes away to the fields towards the creek. This is the lawn area beside the house, and this is the Armstrong Motors business here looking north. And just a few more pictures of the lawn area in front of the house and at the side of the house. The applicants informed me that the septic system is in this area. And then there's a drain that kind of runs across the front of the property in front of the house. There's a picture of it here. So the drain, the water apparently runs kind of through this area into this drain. This picture up here in the corner, this is approximately where that supplemental farm dwelling would be located. It's in a bit of a cedar bush here. And again, here's a photo of the driveway going out to line 10. And then this is the cedar hedgerow. The dwelling would be in this area over here. And just some more pictures of the property for committee's context. This is a storage building. I'm standing basically where that dwelling would be located. And then this is the driveway going in. That building would be behind these hedges here. Property was posted on the 23rd of April and notice was also sent out. And we did not receive anything through email or in written in regard to this application. The staff recommendation is to refuse this application for the reasons outlined in the staff report. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that the committee may have. And I understand that the applicant is also here.
Yes, thank you. Any questions for Adam on this presentation? Okay, I will now ask the Secretary Treasurer to provide any comments received from the circulated agencies and landowners.
Thank you, Mayor Rohan.
We received no written correspondence.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone present by video conference who wishes to make a presentation or speak in opposition of the application? I request that they give their name and address for the record when they're recognized. I do not see or hear anyone speaking in opposition. Is there anyone present by video conference who wishes to make a presentation or speak in support of the application other than the applicant or agent? And I request that they give their name and address for the record when they're recognized. Do not see anyone, do not hear anyone. Does the applicant or agent have any comments in respect to the application? I do believe Armstrongs are on.
Hi,
Hello.
we're here. I don't know if you can see us or not, but
Can't see you, but we can hear you, Nancy.
okay, that's good. Just wanted you to know that we were here, that we're listening in on everything.
All right, that's great. Thank you.
I'm here as well.
Carl's here too.
Good, good. Well, good morning to both of you, even though it is a damp morning.
Yes, it's a miserable day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is there any questions from the committee members? Councilor Orr.
Yes, I'm just wondering, Adam, is there another option for them? I actually wasn't aware of that other drain. Like that might now conflict with putting it closer to the dwelling, but is there an option?
Through you, Mr. Chair, when I went out to the site, I walked the property with the owner, with Nancy, and to me, it appeared that there might be options to relocate behind, so south of the house, and perhaps to the southwest of the house, and maybe southeast of the house. The other areas of the property to the front, again, with the septic and the drain there's a bit of there's services there, and there's low areas that might prohibit that. The lands to the east of the house slope away, so that probably wouldn't be the best spot, but in my observation, there appeared to be areas south of the house around it that there could be potential other locations there.
Okay, thank you. Further questions?
Hello?
Yes, Councilor Jeffrey.
I was wondering, the lands to the north, would that going to be infringe on any farmland that the Armstrongs own, or the properties across the road? How close are they to farm buildings? So, like, I see you have ruled that out, but in a sense, to me, that looks like an appealing place to build a house. But I just wondered, is that really a no
Through you, Mr. Chair. So one of the things that we looked at when I reviewed this application is the county official plan really stresses that these supplemental farm dwellings should be close to the main house to avoid MDS2 issues. And in one of the things we looked at is if the supplemental farm dwelling was located up near the road, is there potential to cause a location problem if the neighbor across the road wanted to locate a livestock farm there? There's no livestock farm there now, but we had to look at it in terms of, is there a potential here that the farmer across the road would have to relocate the livestock facility elsewhere because of this supplemental dwelling? So part of the analysis was based on a what if scenario. That plus there appeared to be other areas on the lot that this dwelling could go that would reduce or eliminate MDS concerns is the reason for my recommendation.
May I add to that
Certainly.
on the MDS? I had spoke to Adam about that when he had brought that up, and I would have concern of having a livestock building in that field across the road. Number one, there is people living in the house at the corner. There's residential dwellings all around us besides our place. Plus we have the Mennonite church at the corner. Plus we have a school at the corner. And if they were to put a livestock building on that piece of property, there's also the aggregate pit Science Hill, which is tentatively closed now, but McCann's is behind them. And plus there's a water source at the bottom of the hill. How you don't ever want to have another Walkerton happen to us or anything like that, but that's some of the things to think about if you're putting an MDS2 case scenario there.
Behind the house, we have an artesian well. Our water comes from a spring. And so behind the house, I wouldn't feel that I would set a house or a septic on top of my spring water, because I would believe there would be a risk of contamination. So the backyard south of the house would be, I did have sheep back there one year, or for 10 years, and we had to ultraviolet our water. And that was as a pasture. So the water is free of, there's no sheep anyway, since 2006.
And that's just on the thoughts of adding the trailer to the back side of the house, to the south side of the house. I had forgot to mention that to Adam when he was out for his visit about the well being over there. So
The artesian well, yes. And we heat our house with that artesian well as well. That water comes to the house and then we send it back chilled. We take heat out of the water, right?
Okay, thank you. Further questions? Council Corby?
I think I do agree that that's a good location, but the trouble with council is that it sets us up for the next one that may want it 186 meters away from their farm dwellings. And I always think it's important that that the recommendation we get is to be in the farm cluster to limit, like we've already turned down a couple of these that were quite a ways away from the farm dwelling cluster. So I just wondered if we're setting ourselves up for trouble with the next one, if that's just a thought anyway.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Adam.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Chair, to the committee as a whole, throughout my career, I've done hundreds and hundreds of minor variances. And one of the things that the committee should not have to worry about is setting precedents with its decisions, because minor variances are basically one-offs. They're very specific to the property. And this property, for example, this was a tough one because there are many attributes that are for and against, I think. And if another application came in tomorrow on a different property and they requested a variance for something similar, I would look at the attributes of that property as a one-off. So if that helps committee, I don't think that the decisions of a committee of adjustment do set precedent. We are considering each lot on its own basis and on its own merits.
Okay, thank you. Further questions from the committee? Deputy Mayor Aitchison.
Where's the artesian well located in correlation to that pool that's behind the house?
It's to the east of the pool.
Would
And
it
300,
help?
340 feet away is where the artesian well holding tank is. And it pulls from the field and it comes across the bottom of that pasture. Not the cut grass. The lawn, it's not in the lawn area. The pool is directly behind the house. And there was a summer kitchen back there where the pool is. On the house at one time.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Zubrick.
Hi, I'm just wondering if kind of the fear with this is, we always worried about that precedent setting, but I think really in the back of the mind is that future severance application. Is that going to be what happens when you have that much segregation between two building structures? So I don't know. I know we've kind of put conditions on other things that it can be. I know it should be written, but on the deed or whatever, that there is never to be, a severance permitted on this property if we were to consent to having the build in the front of the lot location there. I agree with the MDS. I mean, the gravel pits there, the church is there. There's, the Mennonite residential. There's lots of residential there already. So I think there would already be a lot of MDS applications in place if that were ever to be the case, if someone did want to put up livestock. So anyway, that's just kind of my suggestion to the solution for this, maybe.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Mayor Aitchison.
Any chance Adam could show me on the map there where he thought there was another suitable location?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'll share the map again. I'll use this air photo just because it's a bit more zoomed in, but my thinking was, and again, I don't know where that artesian well is back here. This is the front yard area where the septic is. My thinking was that somewhere basically back in behind the house and the pool in this area here. After this tree line here, the land starts to slope away, so I don't think that would be a good spot. But anyway, behind this area here, based on the site visit, was what I was thinking. But the artesian well, without knowing exactly where that is, that might disqualify some part of this area, pending further investigation of that location.
Perhaps the Armstrongs, if you leave that up, Adam, if the Armstrongs are still there, they can maybe direct you to put the arrow.
If you go the tree line that's to the east of the pool.
I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here. Oops. Oh, it's all over the place. Okay, so sorry, Nancy.
That's okay. You see the pool there?
Yep.
Go to the east towards your red arrow.
Yep.
Pass that tree line. Go. There's another tree line farther down the hill there. Do you see it?
Above the F is where the well is holding tank is.
Yeah, above the F.
In this area.
That's where the tank is. And then it comes across on an angle towards the west, across where the white pines are there. Comes across them. There's a little bit of a dark strip coming across the field. It goes, no. On the other side of the trees.
South of the trees.
It comes underneath the tree line.
Okay.
And then there's a holding tank right where the F is on farm building, or about the A and the F. That's where I have a 1,000-gallon holding tank there.
Okay.
So that's why I feel we could supply water to them as well from the artesian well, because I supply to the shop and the house, and it uses, well, we use the water source heat pump, so it uses 4 gallons a minute when we're heating, but we have lots of water.
He's just wondering about location back here.
So, sorry,
But you're thinking
just for
in the corner.
clarification, that artesian well's in this area here somewhere?
No,
Nope, it's over by about the I on the word main.
Oh,
See the-
okay, okay.
If you go above that, you'll see a little dark spot. There's kind of a trail that goes down there towards the pond.
Yes,
It's right all along in there.
yeah,
Okay.
right in the top edge of that dark spot.
Now you got it.
Yeah,
okay. So in this area,
that's where the holding tank is.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, my thinking through you, Mr. Chair, to the committee, my thinking was somewhere around the house, like to the south of it, around the pool area, just somewhere in this kind of U-shaped area was my thought on site.
Okay, seeing as we have Armstrong's there, is there an issue with location there, Nancy or Carl?
To the east of the buildings, there are more trees in there and stuff.
This is a big backyard.
Yeah, it's a big backyard to the west side of the house there.
Right directly west of the house, that is a low area there. There's a couple big maples in there, and it's, well, we're looking right out the window at them. The ground is always wet, so you would have to build a berm up to keep the water from the field away from the building. I'd rather not have to do that.
Yeah.
Could I possibly add that this is just a temporary situation that I still call them the kids, or my kids, have come up with. They currently live in Kitchener. They're renting a house in Kitchener. And of course, they're at that point in life where they want to buy their house. But they approached us about doing this because they were trying to find a more economical way to live. And they said they wondered if they could put a mobile home on the property temporarily. And their thought was that they would live in it for a number of years until they were able to save up a down payment for their house. And then they would sell this mobile home to go towards the purchase of a home wherever they choose to live. You know, so it wasn't like it was going to be a long-term deal, if that helps to, you know, I know you're sick and you're thinking it's proceeding, but we had not stated that it was a temporary type situation that we were wanting.
Because originally we talked about putting, they were gonna build a house in the bush at the back of the farm, and then they got looking and they found that they could put a mobile home. But
well, we couldn't put a house in the bush. We did look into that. I spoke with Martin Feeney about that, and I actually spoke to Sam Corvio a bit about it too. But yeah, there wasn't a way that we could do that. But then they did some more digging, and they wondered if they'd be able to do this mobile home. So that's where this all came about, was trying to see if we could help them out and help them get started in their journey in life, just like the rest of us have all done. And yeah, so I think it's a temporary thing that's going to happen. I don't have a timeline. I can't give you a timeline, but that's where they're coming from with it.
Councillor Zubrick.
So should we be looking at this more than from the garden suite angle? Like, right? We have regulations for that type of accommodation where I think it's up to 20 years is the lifespan of accommodations like that. You know, given the story behind this, we're going to see more of this. We all know the price of housing right now. If, you know, especially with farms, I'd be a fan of this too. If my kids can't afford a house, it'd be like, hey, let's plop a mobile home in the field until they can get on their feet. Absolutely. So, you know, I really want to support this in some sense to see this happen.
Comments?
Sorry, Mr. Chair, through you to Councillor Zubrick. There was a comment before made about the severability of the surplus or the supplemental farm dwelling. So right now, the county official plan actually has a policy for these types of supplemental farm dwellings, and the policy is very clear. It does say that supplemental farm dwellings are meant to be temporary and that they cannot be severed. So there is policy protection in that regard. And in the Perth South bylaw, there is a provision there that says if committee was to approve this today, they have to enter into an agreement specifying the timeline that this mobile home is going to be on site. So if committee chooses to go that route, there are protections here to ensure that this thing actually is temporary and is removed after a certain set period of time.
Okay, for Councilor Corbier.
So if it is a temporary mobile home, when it's in the farm cluster, Adam, do they use the same septic system or do they put another one in?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that the county official plan encourages shared services. So having that dwelling within 45 meters of the house does make it more feasible to share the well and the septic, provided that they have capacity. And today that's not known. That being said, if there are no other alternatives, then a separate septic and well can be contemplated if there are no other alternatives.
So Adam, up at the front there, is there room for a septic system without cutting a lot of trees down to get the septic in?
That's a good question. When I was out there, the cedar hedgerow it's about the width of like the opening's about the width, maybe about half, 3/4 of the width of a road allowance, and they would have to take down a few trees in there. But Nancy indicated on site that there's no intention of removing any of the cedars. They might have to cut down 1 or 2 trees that are in the middle.
Okay.
And the location of a septic system, that would have to be determined, I think, with the chief building official to see what the soils are like. But that's getting more into the technical aspects of it.
Well, maybe pick Martin's brain on that one. Could you give us some information on that, Martin?
Yes, typically what we find in these situations, through you, Mayor, is that the existing septic systems for the dwelling on or the farm dwelling are typically old, and they don't have that design capacity to handle any more daily design flow. So almost all the time they need a new septic system. There are a lot of different types of septic systems that can accommodate this mobile home. It may not be able to go in where the mobile home is going in terms of proximity of the trees, but to the east of that, there's quite a bit of land between the laneway and the row of trees that probably could accommodate a septic system. We would need to do further investigation, and that's part of the permit process to determine where the septic goes and in relation to buildings and wells and that sort of thing. But in my opinion, a septic could be accommodated in that area.
Okay, thank you. Further questions? Deputy Mayor Aitchison.
More of a comment now instead of a question. So if this is going to be a mobile home, and I know how that works, I had one on my farm for a while. And I can't remember it. I think I did a 10-year contract with the township at the time. And the Armstrongs have indicated they're not really sure what the timeline was be. So if you were to permit this, could you do it on a 5 or a 10-year contract, and then it would be up for renewal? And if things didn't work out right, then it would be potentially eliminated. And then if you put in a new septic system, you'd have to decommission it when the trailer was removed.
Excuse me, is there like a sewage digester? I think my son-in-law or future son-in-law had talked about they wanted to go to some type of a digester rather than a septic system. Is that, I haven't looked into what he's talking about, but
I think we might be getting ahead of ourselves
yes,
right now.
yeah.
So I think we'll stick on whether this is going to be allowed by the committee or not.
Yeah.
And I think that Deputy Mayor asked if there could be an agreement for a 10-year or whatever length of time, and or does our bylaws and everything cover that already? Your thoughts on that, Adam?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. So the bylaw does say that establishment of one of these types of mobile homes does require an agreement with the municipality. So the details of that agreement can be, I think, ironed out with the Armstrongs, and that can be presented back to council. I assume council would approve the agreement. And then if things work out or don't work out, we can always bring that agreement back to council if an extension was needed at that time.
Okay, I think that covers that. Further questions or comments? Okay, I guess I'll make a couple comments. Normally I wouldn't agree with this. However, seeing as we are not taking any agricultural land out of production, it does seem like it will fit without taking any trees down. And considering it's a one-off, I don't have any problem supporting this. So I guess what I will do is, seeing as discussions look like they're ended, everybody's got their questions answered, I will ask for a verbal yes or no. And we'll start out with Councillor Jeffrey. You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
That's a yes.
Thank you. Councillor Martin.
I would support it.
Thank you. Councillor Orr.
I would support it.
Councillor Corbu.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Aitchison.
Yes, for the same reasons you just gave.
Okay. Councillor Zubrig.
Yes.
And I too will support it, and I think we've got everyone. So that's carried. So we'll look forward to,
Sorry, we didn't actually get to.
We get-
For that motion, we didn't have a mover and a second.
Oh, sorry. So Deputy Mayor Aitchison moved and second by Councillor Corbu. And are we good? All right.
We're all in favor.
We don't do this very often, so we're out of practice.
Yes.
Unless that's trying to keep you on the straight and narrow. So with that, good luck, Armstrongs, and you'll be working on a deal with Adam and Martin, and good luck with your mobile home.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You'll have
Thank
made
you.
a couple of kids very happy.
Helped them out a whole bunch. Yes.
Thank you.
The second application is for property currently owned by Carolyn and Sean Larmer, A03-2021, 1964 Road 125A, Blanchard Ward. This hearing is an opportunity for the township to advise the public of the purpose and intent of minor variance and receive their input prior to making a decision. Any person present who wishes to receive written notice of the decision made by the Committee of Adjustment is asked to give their name and mailing address to the Secretary or Treasurer at this time. No written notice except as previously noted will be given unless requested at this time. All persons attending this hearing will be given an opportunity to be heard or make a presentation. I will now call on our County Planner, Adam, to present the planning report and recommendations. Adam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to share screen again and walk committee through this next application. So the subject property is outlined in blue. It's just off of Road 125, Road 125A. The lands to the south, this is actually town of St. Mary's. That's the municipal boundary. And Road 125A is just, it's a short road. It's got 3 houses on it. There's another house to the north here. So it's a fairly low density residential area. And then there's farm fields in behind. And the purpose of this application is the applicant's wish to build an attached garage onto the dwelling. And that would be on the north side of the house over top of where the driveway is now. I'm just going to show a sketch. So the proposed garage would be right here. And the requested variance is to reduce the side yard setback from 3 meters to 0.73 meters. We circulated the property, I posted the property on the 23rd of April. The notice was also sent out and we did not receive any written or email correspondence in regard to this application. Staff recommend approval, subject for the reasons outlined in the staff report. And there's one condition that the owner apply for and obtain a building permit within 2 years of decision of committee. Just some site pictures. This is looking west. This is road 125. This is the driveway leading in. The garage would be located here. And this is the neighboring dwelling to the north, separated by this open field area here. And this is just looking to the south towards town of St. Mary's. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the committee may have.
Okay. Councilor Corville.
Adam, I really like the site pictures. It helps make an informed decision. Thanks for doing that on these two.
Okay, further questions? Okay, Councilor Jeffrey.
Is there currently a little shed behind where the proposed garage is going to go?
Through you, Mr. Chair, there's 2 sheds at the back of the property, a smaller one and a larger one that are kind of tucked into the northwest corner of the lot.
How close is that back shed on the property line?
The back shed, I'm just looking at the site sketch. The back shed does not have a dimension string to the lot line. The larger of the sheds looks as per the sketch, the larger shed looks like it's about as close as the proposed garage would go. And then it's set back a little bit off the rear lot line. And then the smaller shed is beside the larger shed. But to answer your question, there's no dimension string there. It's just, I'm just kind of eyeballing it.
Is that first shed, is that got a foundation under it? How come it's so close to the property line?
That I would defer that question to the owner, maybe if they can explain further.
Hi. You know what? I apologize. I don't know if there's a foundation. It is on cement. It was previously there when we purchased the property.
Right.
The reason why I asked, are you going for amendment for that to be close to the property line? That's all I'm asking to.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the variance application didn't include any types of permissions for the shed itself, just for the proposed garage.
Yes. So we're just dealing with the proposed new garage minor variance. Okay, I will ask the Secretary Treasurer to provide any comments received from the circulated agencies and landowners.
Thank you, Chair. There were no comments received.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone present by video conference who wishes to make a presentation or speak in opposition of the application? And I request that they give their name and addresses for the record when they're recognized. Is anyone? Is there anyone present by video conference who wishes to make a presentation or speak in support of the application other than the applicant? And I request that they give their name and address for the record when they're recognized. I don't see anyone. Does the applicant have any comments in respect to the application? Good morning, Carolyn.
Good morning. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good.
Do you have any comments you'd like to add?
No, we're just hoping to build our garage.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the committee members? Seeing none. I guess we don't have a motion, but I'll put a motion out there. Oh, I'm on the wrong page. Okay, we do have a motion here that the Perth South Committee of Adjustment approved minor variance application A0321, subject to the following conditions: that the owner apply for and obtain a building permit from the chief building official within 2 years of the date of notice of decision from the Committee of Adjustment. Okay. Moved by Councillor Orr and second by Deputy Mayor Aitchison. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Carolyn, you're going to have to get your hammer out.
Can't wait.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so we will then move back into council. And thank you very much, Adam, and everyone. With that, we've got Chief Building Official. Martin, your report.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Good morning. The building department continues to be pretty busy. Our totals for the year are much higher than they were this time last year. Like, we're at 9.2 million, almost 9.3 million in construction value, and just about 57,000 or over 57,000 collected in permit fees so far. It's going to continue to be busy. We have many permits waiting issuance here in the office, and so it's going to be a good summer. I've attended some workshops with our IT supplier, or with Direct IT, our software supplier. We're hoping to bring forward, or they're hoping to bring forward a web-based application that we can do everything online, hopefully by the end of the year. So people will be able to submit permits and do everything online, and it will be paperless, we're hoping. They're hoping to offer that by the end of 2021. So I'll keep you informed of when that comes forward. Bylaw enforcement, there was just a couple of issues dealing with some buildings, and we're hoping to work with everybody involved there. There's no new property standards complaints for the month, and in a nutshell, that's my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Any questions for Martin? Councillor Zubri.
Martin, do you need help? Like, are you drowning? Like, no, you're like putting out amazing work. Like, seriously though, I just want to make sure that you feel like you're supported and you have enough supports in place to get through the work you have, and we're not, burning the candle at both ends with you.
No, at this point, we're handling the workload fine. We're busier than normal, but I enjoy being busy. It's fine.
Okay.
Good. Further questions or comments? A motion that the council received. Sorry.
I think maybe the sun in my back. I don't know.
Sorry, Jamie. Yes, go ahead, Councilman.
Not that important, but I was just curious. I noticed we have a new report. This document's handled by inspector. I was wondering if that's part of your new program, Martin, and if it's going to make reporting to us a little bit easier. Is that part of that?
It is part of the new program, and they have many different applications, and I'm still playing around with it. I'll bring forward some different options for you to look at. It just gives you a good idea of what we're doing and that type of thing. So,
yeah, thank you. I found it really interesting.
Okay. With that, I have a motion that the council receives the CBO update report for information. Moved by Councillor Jeffrey, second by Councillor Martin. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Anything else, Martin?
No, that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Hey, you keep getting all this upgrading. You won't even need a pickup soon.
I think it's too late. It's already ordered.
Oh, okay.
Still has to go do the inspections.
That's right.
Yes. Move on with, I have a motion that the accounts payable listing dated April 30th, 2021 for the period of April 17th to April 30th, 2021 in the amount of $75,736.82 be approved. Motion to put it on the floor. Moved by Councillor Orr, second by Councillor Zubri. Questions or comments? Seeing none, hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. All right. Rebecca, Delegated Authority. Morning.
Good morning. Thank you. My report today is in regards to the delegation authority in regards to tax extension agreements. So a tax extension agreement is used when we begin a tax sale process and the property owner wishes to create a payment agreement in order to work off the or pay off the arrears that are currently outstanding. Typically, when a tax certificate, a tax arrears certificate is registered on the property, they have a 1-year period in which to clear up the arrears. And the tax extension agreement allows the property owner some additional time in order to make the payments necessary to clear the arrears. We don't typically deal with tax extension agreements very often. In fact, I think the last time that I brought forward a report in regards to a tax extension agreement was in 2011. And at that time, it was required that the agreement go to council for approval. There were some changes made to the legislation that allows this responsibility to be delegated. And that is what I'm asking for here. I think that this will just streamline the process. It means that the agreements can be negotiated and entered into on a timely basis, especially if a property owner were to wait until the end of the process. And it's really quite a standard thing for a municipality to enter into. So it makes sense that having staff sign off on this agreement would make sense. So the tax extension agreements are very rigid in nature, and a copy of the template has been attached. Essentially, with the tax certificate registered on a property, as I mentioned, the owner has a year to clear up those arrears. We can allow them some additional time, allow them a structured payment agreement. However, if the property owner does not fulfill the agreement, if they do not make a payment that they're scheduled to make, the original tax sale process and the original tax arrears certificate process resumes. So we don't have to start it all over again. So if a property owner enters into this agreement, it's extremely important that they make all the payments on it, or else the tax sale process will resume. And just so council understands the tax sale process, in accordance with the legislation, we start the process after there are three full years of arrears on a property. So the arrears are usually quite substantial by the time we get to a tax arrear certificate being registered, and then the agreement being entered into. So I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any from council.
Any questions? Seeing none, hearing none. I have a motion that the council of the township of Perth South hereby receives a report from the CAO/treasurer dated May 4th, 2021 regarding delegation of authority for tax extension agreements for information purposes, and further that the council of the township of Perth South hereby approves delegating authority to the CAO/treasurer to enter into tax extension agreements. Questions? Moved by Deputy Mayor Aitchison, second by Councillor Zubrick. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. Anything else, Rebecca?
I'd just like to add that our office continues to operate, on an appointment basis, and we are offering curbside services at the office. Traffic is obviously really light, but we do have the occasional person requiring services generally related to building. Everything seems to be running fine, and all of the staff are healthy and attending work. So I just thought I'd give you an update on that as well.
That's great, thank you. Any questions for Rebecca? Okay, I guess we'll move on. Was that your name's not on here? I guess you don't have anything?
I put all those bylaws at the end.
I noticed that, and I was reading them and saying, oh, she must have made her mad.
But no, I don't have anything additional.
Okay, Correspondence, we received a letter from Minister Clark regarding a volunteer, I guess, to participate. So I'll let Lizette expand on that.
Thank you, Mayor Wilhelm. So this letter came forth. The ministry is currently reviewing the codes of conduct for municipal councils, and they would like some feedback from municipalities during this process. One of the things that they're asking for is that a member of our council be able to participate in the session that's being held May 6th in regards to this process. And so I circulated the letter yesterday, and I'm hoping someone will volunteer to participate in the process if someone is available.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments? Well, I'll make one then. Seeing as Councillor Orr sat in on the county code of conduct training that they had, would you be available for sitting in on this?
No problem. Happy to do it if nobody else wants to.
Okay.
I'd agree with your comment there. And actually, you and I are busy on Thursday, Bob, with county council, so you or I aren't going to be the ones doing it. So
No, and I think it'd be interesting, seeing as Councillor Orr did sit in on that training, to see and get thoughts and feedback from what you learn on this group session, I guess. So.
Happy to do it.
Okay, not hearing any other comments or questions. Okay, we'll expect to hear back from you after you sit in on that. With that, I guess that's all you need for that. We will move on to council reports, and we'll start out with Deputy Mayor Aitchison.
not a whole lot to report. Mobility bus is about the same as normal. Central rides only. And had a few calls about different things, but nothing too serious, and things seem to be relatively quiet here since our last meeting, so that's all good.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Corrigan.
We had one of our grader operators go through that online course, and he said it was extremely beneficial and lots of good ideas, and he believes that it's making him better to do a better job on our roads. So I don't know, maybe at some point we could see about sending somebody else if council agrees to do that. So that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I think that the amount of money we spend every year on gravel and grading, et cetera, that if we can train our operators to do a better job, then it's probably money well spent. So perhaps Rebecca, you can talk to Ken on that and see about training for the other operators.
Will do.
Okay, Councilor Orr.
Not much to report. There was that Kirkton Pool meeting, but I should clarify, it wasn't like the whole committee, all the councils together. It was just the Kirkton Pool Committee. Bob did sit in on it. I think that the pool committee is definitely just on the track that they want to meet with Mosh, and everybody is wanting to talk about the long-term future. But I guess we also have to wait to see what this summer will bring with the province. So we're kind of all in a holding pattern. But besides that, just a few phone calls, but otherwise things are good.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Jeffrey. Oh, you're still on mute, Councilor Jeffrey. There you go.
All right, thanks. Yeah, there's everybody you talk to, they're getting tired of being tied down, and so whether this vaccination is going to help, you hear a lot of pros and cons. So we'll continue to wait and abide by the so-called rules for now. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Zuber.
Well, I got my jab last week, so other than a sore arm, I was pretty excited to get that done. And otherwise, all's been quiet. So hoping that I've done my part to get back to a normal world sooner than later.
Yes, congratulations. I got mine a few weeks ago and no issues. So I would certainly encourage everyone to follow suit. Councilor Martin.
A couple things. I just want to sort of, I didn't speak up much in that Armstrong discussion because I thought everything was covered, but I do really want to support that. Yesterday, I was stopped at the hospital by staff that's trying to move to this area, whose parents have a place here and would really love to do something similar. And I think it might really help our youth retention. And if we can support more of these, where, as Melinda mentioned too, there are a lot of young people that would love to come back to this area, but the housing market is just not making that possible. So I love that council supported that, and I hope we can move further on that so that it can help keep some of our workforce here. Also, I have a community safety and advisory meeting this afternoon. Again, we're discussing the proposed draft. I think the idea is that we will then figure out a timeline for municipal approval and also the timeline for the rollout to the public. So I will report back on that next meeting. That's it for me.
Okay, great. Thank you. And yes, you can tell people we're open for business. And yes, I did, as Sue mentioned, Councillor Orr mentioned, I was in attendance with the Zoom meeting and I thought it went extremely well. The rec director, I'm not sure what Scott's title is, certainly seems to want to work with everyone. I think everybody got a much better feeling leaving that meeting that everyone wants to work together and move forward. So we'll wait and see, and hopefully we get enough people that get the shots and the numbers go down and we can open up, but that's a wait and see. But yeah, I've been doing a few Zoom meetings, etc., but pretty quiet. So with that, I have a motion or a bylaw 22-2021 being a bylaw to delegate authority to the CAO/treasurer to execute tax extension agreements, be given first, second, and third readings and be properly signed and sealed. Moved by Councillor Corrigan, second by Councillor Orr. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And next I have a bylaw 23-2021 to 40-2021 being bylaws for maintenance and repair of various drainage works in the township of Perth South, be given first, second, and third readings and be properly signed and sealed. Moved by Councillor Jeffrey, second by Councillor Orr. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. I don't believe we have any announcements. Any notice of motions?
Actually, Bob, could I bring something up in announcements?
Sure.
So everybody knows the sign war thing's getting alive and well. And Walter from the Mayor of West Perth took a little jab at me the other day. They have one up there saying that, hey, Perth County West is best. I'm thinking we need to put up a sign that says West may be best, but we know everybody wants to go south. Just my thought. I was thinking of it, and you know, since Walter took a little run at me, and I thought, yeah, we can get in that, but we'll do better than West. We're going to be south.
Yeah, that's right.
And after nobody's been south for a long, long time, I think that'll go over.
Yes, very good.
Looking to travel, come south.
Yeah. Okay.
That's if you're interested. I just thought I'd bring it up.
We'll have to figure out where we can put a sign up for it, though.
Well, we could even do a cardboard sign or whatever. I don't know.
Well, maybe let the staff. They're pretty inventive.
I just want to take a jab back at them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. I don't think we have any other business. Public question period. We don't have anything. And that.
Excuse me, Bob.
Yes.
Excuse me. I had brought up 6.15.
Okay. If you did, sorry, I did not hear that. You must have been on mute. So, okay, we can go back to 6. 6.15.
Oh, what's the Phragmites weed problem that seems to be all around Lake Sinclair that they sent in that on the issue. And I was wondering, how are we doing in Perth South? Is Ken there? How bad an issue is it here on our road allowances, etc.?
Ken, can you comment on that?
Yes, you can hear me. We do have some spots, and I know the county has a few spots as well that they've been treating just the spot locations to keep it under control. But there is a few small spots around with that Phragmites.
So what is working, Ken? What application or etc.? Sorry.
I believe it's just a Roundup that the company we get to spray our roadsides comes back. It's not done in the spring. It's done a little bit later, but it's just a Roundup application, I believe.
Thanks.
Okay. So, I'm gonna do the confirmatory bylaw. Bylaw 41-2021 being a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify matters dealt with by resolution of the Township of Perth South be given first, second, and third readings and be properly signed and sealed. Moved by Councilor Orr, second by Deputy Mayor Aitchison. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And I have a motion that the meeting does hereby adjourn at 10:35. Moved by Councilor Jeffrey, second by Councilor Zubrick. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Good meeting. Everyone have a great day. And stay safe.
Take care.
Hey,
guys.
Hey, Melinda.
Yeah.
Do you have are you sitting in a barn? You got a cow behind you.
No, that's my desk.
Oh.
You want to give you my cow? There's my cow.
Hi, cow.
That's my coworker when I work from home. I'm lonely. It doesn't talk
Alrighty.
back like my kids.
Yeah, okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.